We're ready to install the next corner on this project now. This is another external corner. This one is going to have to be trimmed though. So this is the situation where you're coming around a corner and tucking into a door or a window or some other feature, and the leg on our bend is too long. And so what we're going to do now is mark this and trim it. And because we have a flashing where the end of the sheet tucks in underneath the flashing, we can cut that edge with a nibbler. It'll be hidden from view and you won't see it. We're now ready to trim this up to fit inside the flashing. That leg's too long, so I'll have to trim it back a little bit. Note that I've already trimmed the bottom of this sheet to match the flat sheets in the way that I showed you on the previous corner. Important thing to note, now that we've set the first corner with it lapping in on this side and lapping out on this side, all the other external corners on this project will be the same. They'll all lap out on this leg and lap in on that one. So all I do now is offer this up, overlapping the flashing. That flashing has a 25mm squash fold, so there's plenty of room there to hide the cut edge. Push it up hard against the batten, and then I'm going to mark 5mm in from the edge, so there's a little bit of play, and that will allow us to fit it nice and easily. And then I can transfer that measurement across the whole sheet and trim it off with a nibbler. Okay, so this is the measurement that I took when I had it offered up to the wall there. I'm now just using the set square to transfer that to all the other legs. The reason I'm doing it this way, I can use a flat sheet as a straight edge eventually, but these parts can bend a little bit. So this is just making sure you don't cut a bend into the part. So when I need a straight edge to mark the corrugations, we tend to use an off-cut piece. It's really important that you make sure it's an off-cut piece with a guillotine cut edge, and you check to make sure that that edge is square, and then you can overlay that, make sure it lines up with your markings, and then work your way along, marking the cut line. Push down hard and keep moving along the sheet as you do that. Now you're ready to trim. So now that we've trimmed this, we can check to make sure that it fits okay, and assuming that it does, then we can use this as a template for all the other pieces on this wall and trim them up so that we can move quickly. So there you go. That sits in nicely. We're only going to need to fix on this surface for this particular job, so I can use this now as a template for the other parts. This is the sheet here, this is the corner here that I've just trimmed up that we know that fits. What I'm going to do is use this as a template now to trim up the other ones. Just remember though that this bottom edge was trimmed because this is the first one, so we don't need to repeat that for all the others. And the other thing to note is that this edge here, which has been trimmed by the nibbler, we generally only leave that edge in that condition if it's going to be tucked underneath the flashing like that. Otherwise I tend to finish it off more neatly with the hand snips. And once I've marked all the rest of the sheets, I can trim them off with a nibbler. That saves us time for the next part of the install. An important thing to note when you're trimming these parts, as you see, I've just trimmed this part up to fit in the corner that we're currently working on. I've marked out on the next two sheets, there's a stack of two here, It's really important that you have the orientation correct. So you'll see when I've placed this trimmed corner on the untrimmed ones, it sits nice and flat. However, if I turn this around the other way, it doesn't sit flat at all. And that's because of the forming process. So you need to make sure that everything is oriented the right way so that when they're offered up to the wall, they all fit nicely on top of one another. Now we're ready to install this first corner piece. I'm just going to tuck it inside the flashing. Our toe flashing here is level with the toe flashing all the way around the job. I've marked the positions and pre-drilled these holes 10 millimeters in from the outside edge of the batten. You don't need fixing screws on this side because the flashing will hold it in position. Before you go any further and install the next few corner sections on this one, we're just going to do a quick check and make sure that it's level with the corner on this side here, so that when we put our flat sheets on, it's going to all match up nicely. So because we set the toe flashing up perfectly level, we can measure up from the toe flashing. And so this, I'm just measuring to this peak here, and that's 715. Come over to here, compare the measurement, 715, so we're good, we're level. Now that we've checked the height to make sure that everything's level across the job, we can install the next couple of corner pieces on top. You can't really adjust the height from here, so once you've set the first one, the rest of them should be fine. Okay, I've just trimmed the last small piece to go on the top. I had to trim the bottom edge and the top edge, and tuck that one in. And I've just used one screw to hold that one in place. Now we have the second corner done, so we've got the two external corners on. The next step is to do the internal corner here.